Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something really crucial for anyone running an independent gym or maybe a boutique studio,
Yeah, definitely.
building a fantastic team, but, without completely breaking the bank.
It's a huge challenge we hear about a lot.
Exactly. Many of you have mentioned this. So, we've got a great resource. We're diving into a white paper called Staffing Smarter Hiring, Training, and Retaining Top Talent on a Budget. It's by Jim Thomas, a gym business expert.
hmm
And our mission here isn't just to summarize it. We want to pull out the really valuable, actionable stuff, give you a practical guide to staffing smartly.
Yeah, think of it as your shortcut. Understanding how to hire, develop, and importantly, keep great people, even when, money's tight.
Okay, so where does Thomas start? It seems pretty fundamental. You have to define what top talent actually means for your gym first, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It really pushes back on this idea that there's one definition. It's not about who just looks good on paper.
So what should gym owners be asking themselves?
Well, he suggests some targeted questions. Like, what will this person really be doing day to day? What are the crucial soft skills needed, for keeping members happy?
Uh-huh.
How does this role specifically help the business? Is it sales? Is it member experience, operations? And maybe the kicker, does this job truly need specific certifications right away?
Or could you train them up?
Exactly. Could you find someone with the right foundation, the right attitude, and then train them effectively in your system?
Okay, so it's less about being impressed by a resume and more about alignment, finding someone whose potential fits your specific gym's needs and maybe values.
Precisely. That's the core point Thomas makes. Shift your focus. Don't hire just on gut feel or, credentials that might not even be relevant. Hire for strategic alignment with your gym's real goals.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got a clearer picture of who you need. Now, how do you find them without spending a fortune on the big job boards? The paper talks about getting creative, right? Non-traditional recruiting.
Yeah, and this is interesting. He really emphasizes tapping into connections you already have and your local community.
Like what?
Well, partnerships with local fitness schools, for instance.
Oh, for interns or maybe entry-level folks?
Exactly. And it's not just about finding cheap labor. Often these students are super motivated, eager to apply what they're learning. Plus, they might be more open to your gym's way of doing things. You get to shape them early on.
Potentially building loyalty long-term.
Right. And then there's your own membership base. Don't overlook them.
That's a great point. Someone who already loves the gym.
They already believe in what you do. They're passionate. Your next star trainer might literally be working out next to you.
They've got a head start on the culture fit.
Totally. And this creativity extends to social media, too. Don't just post job opening.
Let them.
Showcase your team culture. Give people a real peek behind the curtain. What's it actually like working there? And network with other local wellness businesses, health food shops, yoga studios. You might get great referrals.
So it's about becoming part of the local scene, not just putting up a virtual help wanted sign.
That's it. The takeaway is recruiting smartly for smaller gyms means engaging your community, thinking outside the box. It's not always about having the biggest ad budget.
Okay, let's say these creative methods bring in candidates. Now, the evaluation bit. Thomas really hammers this idea. Hire for attitude, train for skill. What does that mean practically?
This is so key for bang a team that lasts. Look, certifications, specific skills, they matter, but you can often teach those.
Right.
But those core personality traits, a genuine warmth, an actual interest in fitness and helping people, basic stuff like being on time, being reliable, that's much harder to teach.
You can't really train someone to be a nice person.
Pretty much. Think long term. A technically amazing trainer who's kind of cold or unreliable, they might just see your gym as a stepping stone. But someone passionate, coachable, aligned with your values, even if they need some skill development,
They're more likely to stick around and contribute positively.
far more likely. They'll invest in the community, help build that positive member experience. That drives retention, which is crucial.
So you prioritize that raw potential, the eagerness, maybe over someone who just ticks every box on paper, but lacks that spark.
That's the heart of it. A motivated, coachable person can often become way more valuable long-term than someone with all the credentials but the wrong attitude.
Makes total sense. Okay, so you hire someone with that great attitude. How do you actually set them up to succeed? The white paper mentions a simple and scalable training program. What's essential there?
Structure. Structure is absolutely key. Thomas warns against just throwing new hires in and hoping they figure it out. The sink or swim approach. Avoid it.
Yeah, that rarely works well.
You need a proper onboarding process.
Mm.
Clearly lay out the essentials. Your gym's mission, its values, your standards for member service, be specific, sales expectations, if any, and how you want it done.
And the practical stuff too, I assume. Operations, safety.
Oh, definitely. Operational protocols, safety procedures, critical stuff. Everyone needs to know this. It's about creating a clear roadmap.
Okay, a roadmap. And Thomas has a neat tip for doing this on a budget, right?
Yeah, super practical. Use the tech you already have, your phone, record short training videos.
Like demonstrating equipment, explaining memberships.
Exactly. Detailing cleaning protocols, whatever needs explaining, then just store them on, say, Google Drive. Free platform. New hires can watch, rewatch, learn at their own pace. Doesn't need Hollywood production values.
That's brilliant. Really accessible. So consistent training like this leads to
Consistent performance. Predictable results. Everyone's working from the same playbook, understands the standards.
right. Now, keeping these good people, smaller gyms often can't compete on salary alone. So what about low-cost creative incentives? What does Thomas suggest?
This is where you can really shine, actually. He lists several budget-friendly ideas that work surprisingly well. Things like maybe a revenue-sharing model, or bonuses based on things like class attendance or member satisfaction feedback.
Okay, things tied to performance.
Yeah. And maybe a yearly stipend for continuing education. Shows you invest in their growth.
That's a good one. What else?
Clear leadership paths. Mentoring opportunities, even if it's just trainer to senior trainer. Shows there's room to grow. Flexible schedules can be huge. Priority for teaching popular classes. And don't underestimate public recognition. Shout-outs, employee of the month, whatever fits your culture.
So it's about showing value in ways beyond just the paycheck.
Absolutely. That's the core message. People stay where they feel genuinely valued, and that feeling comes from many places, not just the bank account.
That links perfectly to the next point, building a magnetic culture. How does a strong culture help keep people and even attract new ones?
Thomas calls it magnetic for a reason. A great culture pulls people in and keeps them there. It creates an environment where people actually want to come to work. They feel supported, connected.
And happy employees probably talk about it, right? Referrals.
Exactly. They become your best recruiters. So how do you build it? He suggests things like regular team huddles or check-ins, even brief ones. Keep communication open. Celebrate wins. Big milestones, sure, but also the small everyday stuff. Build positivity. Actively ask for ideas, for feedback. Show you value their input.
Make them feel part of the process.
Yes. And outline clear growth paths. Show them where they can go, maybe trainer to assistant manager, for example. And always, always tie it back to the mission. Remind the team of the impact they're having on members' lives.
So fostering that sense of community, shared purpose within the team itself.
Precisely. Great people are drawn to great cultures. Sometimes that pulls harder than a higher salary elsewhere. It's a real competitive edge.
The white paper also mentions flexible staffing models. Sounds like another way for smaller gyms to manage costs smartly. What are some examples?
Yeah, it's about thinking beyond just full-time hires for every single role. Thomas encourages exploring other options.
Like freelance trainers.
Exactly. Maybe they rent space or work on commission or consider part-time front desk staff. Students, maybe. Retired fitness lovers who want to stay involved. And hybrid roles are interesting, too. Someone might split time between coaching, maybe some admin tasks, maybe managing social media if they have a knack for it.
So one person wearing a couple of hats, effectively.
Right. It maximizes their utility, keeps costs down. Maybe a coach who's great online spends a few hours a week on your Instagram strategy. It's about being adaptable.
Finding the right fit for the need, not just defaulting to
You
full-time.
got it. Functional solutions that meet your needs without locking you into a full-time salary for everything.
Okay, another proactive idea Thomas talks about is creating a talent bench. What's that involve? Why is it good for smaller gyms?
This is all about playing the long game with staffing, not just reacting when someone quits.
So always scouting.
Basically, yeah. Always keeping an eye out for potential future hires. Actively building a pipeline.
How do you do that practically?
Keep records of strong candidates you interviewed before, but maybe didn't hire then. Identify members who show promise, who might be a great fit down the line. Offer shadowing opportunities, maybe short internships or part-time trial roles. Get to know potential hires in a low-risk way.
So you're ready before there's a vacancy. Less scrambling.
Exactly. Instead of panicking when someone leaves, you've got a pool of people who already know your gym, your culture. It makes hiring much faster, much less stressful.
Makes sense. The paper also talks about measuring performance and gathering feedback. Why is that so important in this staffing strategy?
Well, you need to know what's working and what's not, right? Who's thriving, who's struggling. Thomas stresses regular check-ins.
Like formal reviews.
Doesn't have to be super formal. Regular one-on-ones, even short biweekly chats. Set clear individual goals, maybe track class attendance for instructors or member feedback scores, review progress, and use anonymous surveys sometimes. Get honest feedback about the work environment.
So people feel seen, heard, supported.
That's the goal. Engaged employees who feel their contribution matters and their concerns are heard, they perform better and they stay longer. Simple as that.
Okay, last point, and it's a tough one. Knowing when to let go. Why is addressing poor performance so critical for these smaller gyms?
It's tough, definitely, but crucial. Keeping someone who's consistently underperforming, or worse, has a negative attitude, it can poison the well.
How so?
Thomas points out it drains the energy of your good performers. It drags down the whole team morale, the culture you worked hard to build. It can even make other good people leave or deter great candidates from joining.
I can see that. One bad apple.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Imagine one grumpy front desk person ruining the experience for member after member. That negativity spreads, it impacts retention, maybe even online reviews. You have to be decisive, professional, but you have to protect the team and the member experience.
So it's about protecting the overall health of the gym for everyone else.
You got it. One toxic employee can undo so much good work. It's a hard decision, but sometimes necessary.
Okay, so let's pull this all together. If you boil down Jim Thomas's white paper, what's the core message for independent gyms trying to staff smarter on a budget?
I think the main takeaway is that building a great team isn't just about money. It's more about the right mindset, having good systems in place, being really intentional about your people.
So mindset, systems, intention.
Yeah. Define your needs clearly, recruit creatively, using your community, train consistently, offer value beyond just salary recognition, growth, flexibility, and actively build that strong supportive culture. If you do those things, Thomas argues, independent gyms can compete for and keep top talent. It's about having a smart people strategy, not just a big payroll.
Some really valuable stuff there. So for you listening, as you think about your own gym or maybe other small businesses you interact with, which of these smarter staffing ideas really resonates? Which could make the biggest impact?
Hmm.
Have you seen these principles work well somewhere? Or maybe seen the opposite happen when they're ignored? Definitely gives you a lot to think about. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.